Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Have you ever considered art as a part of your life's legacy? This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing my dear friend, Michael. He is a multimedia artist, advocate, and a visionary who has a heart for artists to be more at the forefront of creating balance today in the commercial world. He's worked with Robert Evans, and he's also a published author of 5 books. He's been creating since age 6. He's also an art curator, art director, and a producer. Welcome, Michael.
Welcome. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm always good when I talk to you.
Yes, yes. So let's talk art this morning.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can start with kind of the problem and then we'll move to the remedy. So why do you
Okay.
think it's hard for people to talk about art and to value it?
I think there's a simple answer. It's art has never been defined by artists. So, for example, if you have a plumber, it's defined, it's tangible. He's going to lay your pipes. It's going to do a toilet. He does a wash basin. He does a shower, and it's defined. So people say, hey, they can relate to it. With art, they've never defined it. And the problem over generations, we have just done the same old, same old, same old. And the artists had to rely on the emotional response. So if you like a piece of art, you bought it. If in the old days, if a religious figure bought something, that more people come into the church, he had somebody paint the picture, So the artist had to always rely on the emotional, which you have the same emotional when you buy a pipe because you want to have a toilet or a shower.
The benefit.
But it is not defined, because artists never defined what art does for humanity, and because it is inherent. We grow up. It's a superpower. I call it a superpower. We just assume we know about art, and it's so funny because I asked thousands of artists or art people in my life that I met that support the art. It doesn't matter if they pay $1 million for a museum or they're just art lovers. And no, everybody has the feeling, the inside feeling that, art is good. And I think that's the only way why we artists survive, because people give grants and give money and whatever, because there is an inherent feeling, that is really important, art and creativity. I would say these are very interchangeable, art and creativity. And so the people are like, yeah, it's good. And I think we need to give money to the artists. But I think it is not a money problem. I think it is a consciousness problem. People don't understand what art is because artists have never defined art. And that's what I did with my last book, The Smart of Art. I wondered, this book I wrote because of the fact that 95% of artists worldwide are on this poverty level. And in that, I just dug in and said, why is this a problem? Why is this different than a plumber? I always say the plumber, why is it different than selling a bicycle? Why is art different? And and I found out, this is interesting. I found out that not the artists, it's both the artist and the art business think, because it's not defined, they think that art is more than just selling a bike. And it is more in the whole, because art separates in 2 parts, in the creation part and in the part where you sell. The moment art has been created, it is like a bicycle, because you have to go in the market, you have to find people who like it. It's exactly the same. And this is what people don't understand, that connection they can't make. They think it's like, because it's so magically when you create it.
It's a feeling.
But then when you have the feeling and the emotion and the growth. See, this is You lead me where you want me to go.
Yeah, I just want to highlight, I think a part of it is that, especially today, when you talk about 95% of artists
Yeah.
live at the poverty level, it's the fact that a lot of people are just surviving. So am I going to talk to you about a Monet compared to a Van Gogh? And I wonder if that is what makes it perhaps uneasy to talk about art in our public consciousness, because we're so focused on, I have to pay that bill, I have to think 5 years out, and what about my retirement? And yet we fail to stop and slow down to smell the roses, to realize art helps our happiness, our joy, our mental health, our feeling to connect with humanity. What say you on that?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's there's funny, there's wisdom, and wisdom comes from all non-made energies found in human beings, from being. So wisdom comes from being, right? So Zen, all this stuff, you be from the being. You learn
Yes.
it from anything that is living, like nature, animals, other human beings. And art is the language of wisdom.
Oh, that's deep. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that you have the other thing, which is knowledge, which
Okay.
is man-made.
Okay.
So it comes from doing, thinking, learning. It comes through words, and it's found primarily in systems. We get knowledge from systems, from science. It's linear, and it's based on discovery.
Okay.
While the wisdom is based on growth.
Okay.
So you grow, and growth is like change. It is a constant. It's never ending. Well, knowledge is, I know this, and then I can know more and more. But wisdom is never ending.
So,
and I think that's why art is important, to keep in touch with that energy of wisdom.
Yes. Well, I think we're here to do more than just consume, survive, eat. We need to also be able to connect with humanity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you have stressed is that art brings us closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art is, because it connects you with wisdom, it connects you with all being. And because that's, and your mind, I mean, look at this. This is very interesting. We have the knowledge, because all the Asian countries, the kids have to learn an instrument because they know the development for the brain. Yeah. And nobody earns anything with that except the tutors, but they are aware that it is very good for mathematics. So if they want their kids to be good in mathematics, they teach them piano, or violin, or whatever. So this is a great example for finding the you. I think finding the humanity, finding the
whole person.
When you are connect with wisdom.
Yes.
That's why people like affirmations and spirituality, because it's all towards the wisdom.
Okay.
And people have such a hunger for wisdom.
Well, they want to grow. They don't want to just be stagnant.
Yeah, they want to grow, and growth is connected with wisdom. It's not connected with knowledge, because you can know all the books. You can be a millionaire and can be horribly unhappy.
Yeah. So do you think art allows us to take a step back from just the commercial rat race?
I think it's aligning. It is aligning, and all of a sudden you feel something.
Okay.
And it's aligning, but it can also align in the wrong thing. I mean, it can say, hey, there's art, because so art is a business. The selling of art is a business, and people think that's more, and it's spiritual. And no, it's not. It's once it's done, you can perhaps see more out of the product, but once it's created, it's business.
Yeah.
And
one of the things
you can buy something for ego, like a Ferrari, or you can buy it because you love the Ferrari and you love the aesthetics of it and the emotion that it gives you.
Yeah. One of the things you have said, both probably on social media, your website, your podcast, etc., is many times artists create for the marketplace, but then the consequence of that is then, is the art true to who they are and their identity and the original message if artists are placating to the commercial realm?
Because they're not aware. That's why, but because they're not aware, they haven't defined what art is. For example, that it's good for brain development when you learn an instrument. You know, what are the properties for humans? See, this is what I did in my last book. I said, there is a defined function in art. Nobody has verbalized it, but there is, you know, in creating art, and how it's good in Alzheimer's, and it's like, it is a, you know, creativity is everything. Look at our world. Our world wouldn't exist with creativity, but because it hasn't been defined yet, everybody, so the systems that use creativity, a bookkeeper, an architect, whoever, you know, they go to the artists, or the artists come to them and they say, okay, we think you're worth this. And the artists have to take it because they haven't defined the power of it. And that's why they feel poor, because they're always dependent on, what are you giving me, Angelina, for my painting?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I can say I want $5,000, but you say, I'm not gonna, I think it's worth 100. And so, because it is a business, and we don't see that. It's like, for a bicycle, you wouldn't pay $15,000. You would pay 200, 400 bucks, you know?
Sure. So tell me one more time for the listener and the viewer.
Yeah.
How and why does art and creativity bring us closer to humanity?
Because it is, it brings us to humanity, because it brings us into the being. Knowledge is all structured science. So if I'm looking at a bicycle, it doesn't happen. If the bicycle is like a normal bicycle, it doesn't make me contemplate anything. It just, except perhaps the price. But it is, you know, it's a knowledge-based thing. When I think artist, because it isn't defined, it is too big to fit in any system. Art is so, it's like humans. Humans don't fit in systems. We adapt to systems, like the iPhone we talked about, you know?
Okay, yeah.
We
yes.
adapted to that. But so the human, it gets you into the being, and then you get into growth. And because it is not predefined, unless you know something. I mean, if you look at at something that's very famous, like Jeff Koons or something, you don't have an experience. It's like buying a Ferrari, you know, from the shape. But if you buy something you don't know, an artist you don't know, or somebody that really hits you, you know,
In the heart.
In the heart, but also it hits you in the heart, song, you know, a play, anything. But what you recognize is, that's why human, you recognize the higher than human thing, because the artist creates from the energy of the higher energy, the matrix, God, whatever, universe, whatever you think, believe in. And he creates from that higher energy, from the non-man-made energy, and he puts his you know 2 cents in it,
Okay.
and then create something physical.
His expression. Yes.
It's expression. And then
yes.
when you look at this and something moves in you, you're gonna give it time, because something moves you.
Yeah,
if nothing moves
reflection.
me, you just walk further. You know, if it's not yours, you just walk. You can be totally indifferent. It's not wrong to be indifferent to art. Okay. And people figure this out too. When you look at museums, they just walk to what gets him engaged. But when it engages you, then it connects. This godliness that is in art connects with your godliness. And that's why you feel a being, a human being. Does that make sense?
It does. One of the things that you have shared on your Instagram page is, I'm just going to repeat this to you. Problems, you know, obviously come up because we have a choice to either grow and advance as the human race through technology or art or creativity. So you've said to me, problems need systems, but more problems created more systems. Often they stress us out more than they help. should we keep elevating systems above human nature? And you had brought up some of the systems, whether it's social media or the return on investment when, let's say, I don't know, a company goes public, and yet where is the value given to art in the imbalance today?
The imbalance is that we are, which is the power of creativity. We are so fascinated of what's shiny.
Okay.
That we say, oh, this is shiny. Oh, this, and look at governments, even how they present themselves with the uniforms and everything. It's shiny. And people, flock to shiny things, which is the cuteness. It's the Hello Kitty, Hello Kitty thing, the cuteness on what's shiny and what's looks like a lot of gold, a lot of,
Bling.
bling, bling, or whatever. Exactly. And it's just like, wow, wow, wow. And somehow we have, because we're such adaptable, we're so adaptable humans. We adapted to these systems like we adapted to the iPhones and whatever. So we're losing the human potential. Because the
Ooh.
joy is in the human potential.
Oh,
Not in the system, or not in the system maintenance and system navigation. And that's where we lost. We lost one part. The half of the humans navigate through systems, the other ones create them and maintain them. So but none is our creativity is limited to systems, not to human potential.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I think it was Dale Carnegie who said that the plight of the human race is that we are not living up to our potential.
Yeah, but not because we are dumb or we don't want to. We are not just we're not conscious. We are unconscious. We are all unconscious to this massive creation that we do in the physical. And we are so and we, of course, other humans make it palatable. I mean, today, McDonald's could never be McDonald's. You know what I mean? Today, because people are conscious. The cigarette companies couldn't be cigarette companies like they were because people were unconscious. They weren't stupid. They were just not. Hey, they say, hey, smoke because it calms you down. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
it's a consciousness thing. I think it's a consciousness thing, and I would just want to look how much life force you spend just on navigating and or maintaining systems. Even if you create your company, how much does running a company today? How many systems are involved in it? If I buy from you from a credit card, 3 people make money, a half a cent, we are so over systemized, and we have to tender to each with our life force.
And bring some balance back also.
What the balance brings back is the realization that there is things in life that are physical, that are made by humans. And there's things that are not made by humans. And just to focus more on the things that haven't been made by which people do anyway, animal, plants, nature, other humans. Discourse is another discourse. That's why you have such an influx on podcasts right now, because it's a human superpower where we change each other's brain and and have revelations, and these revelations are human potential.
Okay.
And we have that. Even if we talk in a system, you and I, if we talk in a system, we have also revelation, but we use this to make the system strong, and not you and me.
Yeah. So I think where you're pointing the flashlight is that systems are great, but not to give so much power and emphasis to them, because we're the ones who are giving the energy to the systems. So one of the things you've also expressed is that there's not enough demand for art. How do you think worldwide we could create more demand? Is it emphasizing the value?
It's number one, the misunderstanding. Get rid of the misunderstanding that
Such
it is
as?
more. That's like that art business, that the art, what we know as art world,
Okay.
is a business. And we have to say, because it doesn't sell making art, it sells finished products. So it's a business. And that is a misunderstanding. They think it's some magical thing. No, there's magic in creating art and looking at art. But otherwise you couldn't put a price on art. I mean, if the people say it's so magical, why would they put a price on art? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is in the system. The art world that we know, you and I and everybody else, is a business because it sells finished products. Yeah.
Okay.
And even if you go to a school and they teach you that you finish products, the process.
So
But there is no process.
Do you think a part of the key then is to have artists develop more business skills?
Yes, because they will do it themselves if they would realize once they own, once that percolates in you, and you say, what am I doing? I want to be artist, but I want to see, that's why everybody's confused. I want to be artist because I have this unbelievable experience of creating art. And then I'm totally frustrated because I bring this piece of art, music, whatever, to the market and it doesn't like it. But then there are people like Beyonce or Jay-Z or something, they create art that the people like. And so it's like not everybody can be Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
In the business world, people understand that. Even if they say my ideal is to be the next Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk,
Okay.
But an ideal is something you never reach. And in the business world, that. Hey, I create a bicycle, I throw it in the market. If it goes, it's good. If it's not, it doesn't. But with art, it's always, when somebody doesn't like your art, I say, oh, people don't understand. People are dumb. And it is not. The magic and the value is in the creating.
Okay.
Or in the looking at it, not in the buying and selling.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. One of the things you've also shared is art contains values that can be communicated. What are some of those values?
Wisdom.
Okay.
I mean, wisdom is one of the, I think that art is the language of wisdom. I told you that before. And I think that there's so much wisdom in art. We haven't even scratched the surface because we are not aware that it's just a business, the market and art creation has so much value. And I call it the essence of art versus the art business, So I think we like the Alzheimer's, it brings you, it's the magic, for example, when you have to go to any art opening, you don't need to be politically correct because if you have art in an art opening, everybody understands each other. Republican, Democrats, race, sex, everything. Everybody understands. It's like magic. You go to any gallery open, people don't, punch themselves out or anything. Because, and all of a sudden, the staunch Republican, the staunch Democrats can be like talking. They talk. And the funny thing is, nobody looks at art. When they are in the thing, then the humans, you ask me what brings art, to humanity. When you're surrounded by art in an art event, it brings together humans. Artists are often very upset because people talk when they play, the musicians.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And that's not what art is. Art is the magic that while you're playing, you have inner peace, you have serenity, you have harmony with people.
Well, it changes the energy in the room. It changes the environment.
But they don't see it. They think, oh, yeah, you need to think. It's like nature. You're going out in nature and there's peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things you've also mentioned is art will regenerate or re-energize us as one of its valuable components.
You're not wasting a stress because see, there's a difference between working or creating. Humans love to create. Humans the CEO that works 85 hours a week comes home on has Sunday off And what does he do? He goes in his garage and polishes his roadster or something,
Right.
or does his thing, or does his garden, or tends to, everybody tinkers around, or paints, or does something. We love to tinker, either in the garage, in the household, cleaning stuff, whatever. We love to create. But working for money is something totally different. And that's why that creates stress, unless your job doesn't feel like a job. But if your job feels like a job, it is stress, and you get paid. It doesn't matter. There's no money that can pay you that it's not stress.
Okay. So here's a question for you. What part does art have in our or your human existence?
For me, it's I told you that since, when every resume and growth is always the big thing that's never ending. And
Growth.
Every moment. Yeah. Even now, I'm totally into growing with you in that moment. And it's a constant. And because art is so misunderstood and not understood, because the system looks at it, what's good art, what in the system that's good art, that's not art. But that's not the point of art. The point of art is you have a mind meld with God or universe or whatever, and out of that mastermind comes a physical thing, and in that creation, from wisdom to knowledge. See, I'm like wisdom to knowledge. I bring it into words. I bring it into thing. But all knowledge does is lead us to wisdom. See, they're all guideposts, words, and they're all just guideposts. They lead us to wisdom, and that's what we're really all about. Because what is priceless? This is priceless right now, this discussion.
Yes.
Well,
I think
the best thing in the world are priceless, but we have learned,
yes,
this is the power, the priceless stuff, the humane stuff, the nature, our environment. That's the power.
This is what you call the superpower of art.
That's our superpower. Is the art, and nobody has even touched it or scratched it.
The surface.
I think I'm the only one, and it was just because I said I can't believe this world is so beautiful, and look at what we created. And why do people that just create for create's sake, they have no purpose, they just create for create's sakes, are so misunderstood? And then I found out they're both misunderstood. They are both misunderstanding, because it's over generation, and it has never developed that artists define themselves.
Deep stuff. Okay. All right. Very good.
You liked it?
I'm going to switch it over to legacy for a moment, because this is a legacy podcast. I wrote down, legacy is not necessarily tied to commerce, but art can inspire us to develop and complete our legacy. Legacy is a culmination of our creativity, knowledge, and perseverance. And the essence of one's legacy can be their creativity. What say you?
So the legacy is like, truth. It has a lot of levels. So if, let's say, I'm a poor kid that wanted to create McDonald's, and the truth comes always, at the end. The truth comes when you die. Then everything gets into perspective. And I say, my legacy was I could feed billions of people. Okay. But in general, this is most people, before they pass, they say, well, what are you regretting, or were you happy? And I think none. No people. I've never read any of the researchers that said, people said, yeah, they were happy that they created Amazon, or they created, a new system. They all said, I wasn't enough with my family. The wisdom, the wisdom. I wasn't enough with my family. I wasn't enough with my friends. I wasn't enough in my nature. I would have loved to see the Himalayas or whatever. So,
or the Sistine Chapel.
System Chapel is simple, but yeah, or System Chapel. It's the emotion, you know. It's yeah. I mean, but it is not something that say I made more money, or I wish I made another million. I wish I had 20 more cars. I had more houses. I had more. I would have had more wives or whatever. I mean, nobody says that. You know, it's the truth comes out when you step off the train of time. And I say a legacy, when you look at legacy, because legacy is legacy also defined. This is because you planted that word in me. No, but because it's a powerful word. Legacy could be my legacy or my ego's legacy.
Oh, and
my ego's legacy would say, I want to touch as many people as possible. I want to change the world. Or saying, my legacy is for me that I continuously grew. You know, that because growth is always what that I continuously learned more of, and there's wisdom that I unveiled. See, in wisdom, it's about the unveiling. It's not the discovery. It's not the discovery of self. It's the unveiling, because you are all that you are already. And through experience, you unveil yourself. And it's like, you don't have to go from here to there because you say, I want to be this. You're never going to get there. You know, and you can push it through with all your life energy to get there. Yeah. You are all that is, but how much can I discover about myself?
If you could have a microphone right now to send a message to the 95% of the artists globally that are struggling, what would your one message be?
Once the product is done, it's business.
Okay.
And that's what I would say. It's once the product is done, it's business. And I say the second message would be that they should be wealthy, feel wealthy, that they connected with this endless, limitless energy of creativity.
Yeah. That's
you know, that they were actually without any, oh, I need to create, I need to build a house or need to do this, but just I can just go in there and mix it up and go back and forth and have flow and just the interaction with that energy. I can't tell you. I wrote a couple of sentences down that this interaction of this wisdom is so invigorating, but also at the same time peaceful.
Yeah,
that's why I think creating is the key, and the world doesn't have to do anything else. Just become conscious of wisdom versus knowledge, of the system versus living beings in our environment. You know, those things. Just and balance it all out, because you know the key is balance. If you don't balance,
yeah. One of the things I also wanted to highlight is I think on your Instagram page, which I hope the viewers and the listeners will check out, you have written art is a human communication tool.
Of course.
Yeah.
But a communication tool that when you make a little bear, or you draw a little bear, how many languages do you need to how many languages do you need to speak to understand that worldwide?
Yeah. And
don't you think that's a power? Don't you think that's a power, that the people understand everywhere? Because even if I put a letter, they don't understand everywhere. Yeah. But if I draw a little bear or a monkey or some cute stuff, Hello Kitty, they understand everywhere.
Yeah. There was an Instagram post you had. It was a heart and there was a key.
Yeah. Love is key.
Yeah. It was someone that is in another time zone that speaks one of the many languages on this globe, this world, or flat earth, whatever the viewer or listener is into. They can understand that, even if you didn't write out words.
Yeah.
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 So, Michael,
You know,
what
when
would
you
you?
leave, when you feel the love, you know,
Yeah.
when when you resonate with the being, when you are in the being, it's not another person that supplies the love. It's when you resonate with the beingness, with wisdom, when you are in your art. That's why this magic feeling of art is when you create, you get into the beingness, and then you feel almost like in love. You almost feel like in love. That's
I
why
think,
another person can actually bring you in that energy, because they have the parts that you don't have, you have the parts that they don't have, and you both get into vibration strong, you know.
well, I think one of the things is when art is done well, it raises the vibration. It inspires people, whether it's, like you said, a house or architecture,
Mhm.
to paintings in a gallery, at a gallery opening. It just, it reminds us that, that, you know, we ourselves, all of us, are creators at our best.
There's nothing in the world, no business, no nothing, without creating. I mean, a song, doesn't a song, you know, you say, what is beingness? I said, beingness is when a song triggers all your feelings that you had 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You can be 80 and listen to a song and you replicate. That's a power. You replicate the emotion that you had at Christmas when the trauma or the happiness happened.
Yeah, I won't break out into Mariah Carey's all you want for
No,
Christmas.
no,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. No, no, but you know, but that's a power, and we don't even
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me again, what functions does art have in our human existence? And this is just again for the listener who might be hearing these concepts for the first time, because I don't think a lot of times it's covered in public and private school. Like again,
No,
you
because
know,
it's, yeah, you are right. It makes us connect with, if I don't want to say the name God, with whatever is higher than us, whatever created us. It connects with what created us, because we didn't create ourselves. I didn't create you, you didn't create me. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So whatever we create, whoever created nature, and we're part of nature, right? It's our habitat, and us, it connects you with that energy. But if art is made for the market, like a bicycle, then don't feel bad that you don't see it. See, that this is, the system says you must like art. I say, no, you can be totally indifferent. You can hate it. That's not the point. Look for the stuff that transform you. Look for the pieces, for the poetry, for the songs that make you like $100, $100,000, $1,000,000, $1,000,000,000, you know?
Yes. So speaking of legacies, what would you like your personal legacy to be?
In where? In what context? In the context of humanity, or in the context of United States, in the context of business, in the context of art?
You meet your maker one day. What would you like your legacy to be?
You did the right thing. You did the right thing by being, not doing.
Okay. And your legacy in terms of humanity, would it be the
But then
same?
I would, then, you know, I could go on that. So what would the legacy be here as a human?
Sure, sure.
Part of making humans understand about the heaven on earth that comes through nature and art.
Very nice. Very nice.
Because it's the only one. It's the only thing that gives you heaven. You know, a great car or whatever that gives you a jolt, an ego jolt. That's very short. But every time you have a moment in nature or with your dog or with anything, it transforms you. But we're so distracted, unconscious, that we don't even know, you know, we know then if you know something,
The power
you
of
know,
art.
if your dog dies or nature dies, all of a sudden you pay everything to save it.
Well,
But
it
then
was, mhm.
yeah, but you missed all these moments to enjoy, and you know, just think, oh, what a wonderful thing. this is,
Yes. Yes. Well, if going back to the superpower of art, I think as you have eloquently pointed out, it connects us, it enhances our wisdom, it's a growth tool, it's a communication tool. And just like the dog that we take for granted or ignore at times, it is also the thing that brings meaning to this existence and to our culture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I said one really interesting thing, if you drive on the street and it's a country road, there's nothing, and you just keep hours of that country road, and all of a sudden you see a little house that has, and you thinking on your way home or whatever, think my bills, this, you have the news radio on, okay? And then you look, and there's this one house, and it has a balloon with a purple balloon with white dots on it. And it just comes out of the house, out of the chimney. In the moment you drop everything, all the worry about your wife leaving, your money payments, the kids, all is gone in the moment you look at this. Because this is what it's all about. It's not about satisfying the system and seeing other humans as systems, because look, we compartmentalize our family like a system. Yeah, they're worth more because we feel it. Yeah. They're the same thing, animal, but it's a cost factor. It's how the society says you have to be with that other human being, with that other, art brings you, it does so much to your brain chemistry. When people look at art, it takes a total different brain, not right, left, complete different brain activity. From being a high-strung CEO, every 5 minutes,
owner.
every a new meeting, versus looking every 5 minutes at art is complete a different brain. And we want to be whole brain people, not just survival brain, reptilian brain.
Yeah.
We want to be whole brain people.
Yes. So in wrapping this up, are there any final thoughts that you would like to share about how somebody could reach you, or art, or?
You can reach me. You have all the data, michaelm.com. Or, go on my podcast. That's on all the platforms.
The Smart of Art.
The power of art and creativity. And my only thing is, there's nothing to do, nothing to understand. Listen to this podcast as often as you can till you get bored, because then you have integrated the knowledge.
Yes.
Till you get bored, listen to it. If it's 1 time or 10 times, nothing is better. Integrate it till you get bored, and then perhaps listen to this podcast in a year. That's all you need to know, because that's the superpower. Why do you think my podcast is 30 seconds? Just one sentence. Plant the seed. You put your seed to it, or you don't take the seed. I'm saying a sentence, you don't have to take anything I said, but if it triggers something, allow this thought to evolve in you. And that's how we create a different consciousness and make humanity number one and nature number one. And everything else has to serve us.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Michael,
Welcome.
for this conversation.
Always good to talk to you. You know it.
Awesome.
And we're going to do something about systems. You know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Navigate, help the humans to navigate and rethink on new ways of systems.
Well, I think the message that you brought today is valuable, because as people think about defining, developing, and executing their legacies, I think they need to be aware of how much power they give to systems and energy to systems, that there is more than that, and also to include art. Sometimes we can just forget that all of those art books on the shelves, maybe we ought to bring them out and decorate our walls, and just remember again that this is available, not to rush through life so quickly, but rather slow down, smell the roses, and realize that it is a part of our evolution, our transformation, and our growth, and why we're here.
and create it and start creating, not just look at books, because that's a system too. That's what's in the system. Good. Just create something, buy some watercolors, get a drum or something. It's, it's not, you don't need much. Listen to music. It's almost, scientifically it's proven that when you consume art, it's almost the same brain development as creating. Just the creator has more feeling of that godly energy. But the listener, it's almost the same art thing. It's a great tip for, you don't have to go look at whatever art you like. It doesn't matter. And there's no good and bad art because every person is different.
Yes.
So if you like Hello Kitty, please look all day long at Hello Kitty. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right. So in closing, I'm Angelina Carleton, the hostess of the Design Your Legacy podcast, as well as the founder to Legacy Planning, a boutique coaching and advisory firm based out of Beverly Hills, California, but international in those I coach. I hope to dive deep into subjects that can help a person define, develop, and execute their legacy, and continue to scour the landscape for those who can be great resources to every dimension of your legacy. For many listeners, there can never be enough education and preparation in the moat around their castle. Whether you find yourself in new wealth or generational wealth, may the content of this channel be an anchor in any storms ahead. We do our best to provide original content for your emotional and intellectual curiosity. Thank you so much for joining today. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, to rate and review. Thank you so much again, and we will see you next week. And thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.